Hello viewers, welcome to a brand new episode of Campus Eye. Well, ever since the pandemic, we students have been restricted to our classrooms with very little field exposure. They say one person can make a difference in the society. But today, we have a group of students from St. Aloysius College coming together to do what they can with very little what they have for the benefit of the society. You must be wondering where we are headed today? Come, let's have a look. We are gathered here in Tannir, Bavi, Mangalore to meet and greet the localites of this place. Before that, we have an orientation session conducted for the students to instruct them on this place and also to instruct them on the flow of events for today's exposure. Let's have a look.
Place, and yet development is very less. You can see that happening literally in this particular place. You can see this hall, community hall, not maintained properly. Government funding or government so-called benefits are very less in this place. If you see, go and interact with the people, you come to know that benefits they are getting, but literally very less. They are not organized well either. There are SFGs groups, so-called self-help groups, where women come together and fund the money and put the money together. The income students will study today how their savings. Now, certain instructions and guidelines for you. What we are going to do whole day, visit to the house, different houses in groups, not together like this as a gap. You go in groups, small groups, but there will be some Kannada speaking people also in those groups. Kannada and Tulu, these are the languages, including Bavi is also spoken here, and some of the Konkani communities also speak Konkani.
Well, the orientation session concludes over here. Students are divided into different groups and every group has a localite to lead the group. I'm sure you can hear a lot of buzz and noise from the background. The students are excited to interact with the localites today. Students have already left in groups to visit the localities and the places. Now their aim is to understand their saving habits, their financial issues or any other issues that they are facing in general. Let's have a look at the glimpses now.
दादे बोट के पोपुना दादे इला मगल दादे बेले आल मूर बैंक दे ओ बैंक दे कॉर्पोरेशन बैंक अपन इंग्लैंड वार दोन खट्टेरा तिंगो लक्तोरा वार खट्टेरा दुंगो सा तमन्न दितिंते न्याजिरु पेमेंट कमी इल्ला जोकले बुक ಐತಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪೂರಾ ಅವೇ ಮಲ್ಲ ಮಲ್ಲ ತಿಂಗಳ ನನಗೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಲ್ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡು ಕಾಂತಿ ಒಂದು ಸಾಲ ಸಾಲ ದಾದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಂಡ್ ಜನ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಯಾರಿ ಸಾಮಾನು ರೇಷನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಪೂರುಂಡೆ ರೇಷನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಏನದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೈಕ ಮಾಡಿದ ಅವು ತೆಗ್ಸಿ ರೇಪನ ಮದ್ವೆ ರೇಷನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇಚ್ಚಿ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಪೂರ ಇತ್ತು ಪೂರ ಬಾಕಿ ಜೋಕ್ಲೆ ಪೂರ ಮೊಕ್ಲೆ ಪೂರ ಅತ್ತ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬರలేదు
ಒಂಜಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಂದಿತ್ತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂತೀನಿ ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಉಂಡಾದೆ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಒಂಜಿ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಹೊರ ಒಂಜಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಲ್ತಂದಿತ್ತಾರೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೊರ ಕಷ್ಟ ರಡ್ಡು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದೇ ಟೈಮ್ ಬರ್ತೇವೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡತ್ತೆ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಒಂದೇ ಟೈಮ್ ಇತ್ತು
expense not to buy get the mobile that
mobile that ತೊಂದರದಲ್ಲ they just adjusting with the mobiles whatever they had dala incha saving dala mandi tara fund ಸ್ವಸಹಾಯ ಸಂಘ ಮಾಡಿ ಈಗ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಪೂರ ದಾಲಿ
ಸ್ವಸಹಾಯ ಸಂಘ ಹಿಡಿತದೆ ಎಂಗುಲು
ಇಲ್ಲು ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಸ್ವಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ
ಸ್ವಂತ ಆಂಡಲ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇಜ್ಜಿ
ಹೌದಾ ನೆಟ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇಜ್ಜಿ ಇಲ್ಲ
ಒಂಜಿ 5 ವರ್ಷ ತುಂಬೆ ಎಕ್ವೇರಿ ಆತನ
ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಗಂದು
ಅಂಚ ಎಂಕ್ಲೆ ಪೂರ ಬಕ್ಕಲ ಬುಲ್ದೀನ್ ಎನ್ನ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ನಾ
ಇತ್ತತ್ತು ನಿಕ್ಲೆ ರೇಷನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ವೋಟರ್ ಐಡಿ ಪೂರ ಉಂಟು
ಪೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಿಶೇಷ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪೂರ ಸಹಾಯ
ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್
ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಪೂರ ಪಾಡು
ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀರಿದ್ದು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕಳ್ಳು ಸಂಬಾರ ಪಂಡ ಕೇರ್ಲೆಸ್
ಮುಲ್ಪ 2 ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸತ ನೀರು ಹಂಗೆ
ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ 2 ದಿವಸಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಟೈಮ್
ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ
8 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಇಡೀ ದಿನ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು 2 ದಿನ ಅದೇ ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ
ಸ್ನಾನ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ
ಸ್ನಾನ ಊಟ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ನೀರಲ್ಲ. As we have already spoken to a few localites from this place, we come to know that there are a lot of water issues, water problems that these people are facing. They get water supply once in 2 days and they have to store it in these tanks. I can see 4 tanks, 4 to 5 tanks over here, and that water is used for their daily purposes like having bath, for their food purposes or any other purposes. They use this much water for 2 days and the next set of water comes after 2 days. So we can see the importance of water. We are very privileged with having water 24/7 at our houses. The water taps are dripping and we don't really switch them off. We're not really worried about the water problems. This highlights the concept of save water today or you'll pay for it tomorrow. Right now we are at Tannir Bavi beach. Here we see a lot of people come to visit the beach and they come with their own vehicles. The people over here, they find it difficult for their transportation. Now there are vehicles, there are buses, there are rickshaws, but they have their own time intervals. Late at night, you cannot expect the buses to be there. There are no public transportations. The localites find it difficult to come to the interior places unless they have a vehicle of their own. It's almost lunch time now. Students are very tired, going to different houses on foot, interacting and talking to the localites. Now it's almost time. Students are taking a break to have the lunch that is provided by the college. So it's almost around 1:30 now. We've been walking under the sun for a really long time. We've visited different houses so far and now we are amongst these cute little kids around us. We've got time to visit a school. Let's have a look how this went.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ. ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆ ಹೆಸರು ಕಿರಿಯ ಪ್ರಾಥಮಿಕ ಶಾಲೆ ತಣ್ಣೀರ್ ಬಾವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಟ್ಟು 25 ಮಕ್ಕಳು ವಿದ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗ ಈ ವರ್ಷ 25 ಮಕ್ಕಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಒಂದು ತಿಂಗಳ ನಂತರ ಈಗ ಮನೆ ಭೇಟಿ ನೀಡಲಿಕ್ಕಂತ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಶಯ. ಬಂದರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಿತ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2-3 ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ, ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಾಗಿ ಕುದುರೆಮುಖ ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು ಈ ಸಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಬಿಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಸ್ಯಾನಿಟೈಸರ್, ಮಾಸ್ಕ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ ಬಣ್ಣ, ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲ್, ರಬ್ಬರ್ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಂತರ ಕುದುರೆಮುಖದವರು ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಕೊಡುವ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. 1-2 ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಕೂಡ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಉಚಿತವಾಗಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನದ ಬಿಸಿಯೂಟದ ಯೋಜನೆ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಸಮವಸ್ತ್ರ, 2 ಜೊತೆ ಸಮವಸ್ತ್ರ, ಶೂ, ಸಾಕ್ಸ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಷೀರಭಾಗ್ಯ, ಹಾಲಿನ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಇದೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕುಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಯೋಜನೆಗಳು ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗೂ ಪರಿಸರದಿಂದ ಸಹ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಎಂತ ಹೆಸರು? ಸೋಲ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಯಾರು? One, two, three, start.
So this was our visit to Government Primary School in Tannir, Bavi. Apparently a lot of these kids start earning at a very young age by doing little course for the people around the locality. They start earning at a very young age. That makes me think, aren't we the privileged ones? As a part of today's exposure, the students are conducting a cleanliness drive where the students are picking up the waste from the surroundings in Tannir, Bavi and collecting them in waste bags. That's the end for the day 1 of the rural exposure. Tomorrow we will be visiting another place. Today we are here at Anjali Farms, a beautiful greenery place maintained and looked after by St. Aloysius College.
Sorry, 10:50. Okay, 10:50. 10:50 to 12:30. One, not more than that, right? Anyway, this what do you call standing orders here by a standing person here, not to touch any fruit trees. Okay, not to touch any fruit trees.
Is the only place that we have in common, and the greatest threat to our planet is hoping that somebody else will save it. We students are doing our bit for the benefit of the environment. Right now, in the background we can see they are weeding out the waste plants. In another farm, we have our students digging up the land and sowing vegetable seeds into it. We also plan to water this whole area and the farm. Let's have a look at how the work is being done. Here in Anjali farms, there are variety of fruits and vegetables, plants and trees, and they have been looked after by the caretakers. Now let's hear from the caretakers of this place about this farm.
ಹಲೋ, ನಾನು ಅಂಜಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಬಂಡಸಾಲೆ ಎಲುಸಿಯಸ್ ಅವರಿಂದ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಅಂಜಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ವೆರೈಟಿದ್ದು ಮರಗಳಿವೆ. ಮಲೈಕ, ಡ್ರ್ಯಾಗನ್ ಫ್ರೂಟು, ರಂಬುಟಾನ, ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಚೆರಿ, ಜಿಗುಜ್ಜ, ಹಲಸಿನ ಹಣ್ಣು, ಎಗ್ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ಸು, ಬಟರ್ ಫ್ರೂಟ್ಸು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ 2-3 ಸಲ ಮದ್ದು ಬಿಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ 2 ಸಲ ರಾಸಾಯನಿಕ ಗೊಬ್ಬರ ಮತ್ತು ಸಾವಯವ ನೀರು, ವಾರಕ್ಕೆ 4-5 ಸಲ ನೀರು ಬಿಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ. ಮತ್ತು ತರಕಾರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ.
Most of our ancestors, as we know, were into the farming works, but clearly our Gen Z has not been introduced to the farming or agricultural farming. But we do see our youth in the present day, they've been turning down their IT jobs, they're turning down their 9-to-5 jobs and turning back to agricultural farming. Also in the pandemic, we have seen that people have been following the trend of balcony farming, balcony gardening or terrace gardening, etc. In simple words, if we can say in the Gen Z language, maybe you should be downloading some seeds, uploading them into the soil and bear the fruits of the nature, bear the fruits of your hard work.
This is a wonderful exposure for our postgraduate students from the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, as well as from the Finance and Analytics from the Commerce Department. So we had 2 days exposure. It's supposed to be a rural exposure in the villages in North Karnataka, especially Uttara Kannada district. We usually used to go to Mungod, and among the tribals and the backward classes there, we used to have exposure. But unfortunately, given the COVID situation, we had a limited time, and therefore we went to Bengre, nearby area, as well as today we have come to Anjali farm, a farm run by the Aloysius College. It was a beautiful experience for both the students as well as for the staff. At Bengre area, we had exposure to the families and interaction with regard to their social economic situation. And today at this farm we had ecological exposure as well as agricultural exposure. The students had a hands-on experience with regard to digging, weeding, planting, sowing, watering, and they literally burned their skin under the sun. It was a good exposure. I believe they will get this once in lifetime exposure. So therefore it was a good exposure. Some of them worked really hard, some of them found it very hard, and it was a sort of mixed exposure for many of them.
So after a stressful week of examination, we got to have 2 days of rural exposure.
where yesterday we had to go to the Tannir Bavi rural area, coastal area, where we got an experience to interact with the people around there, how their lifestyles were going on, as we are the MCOM students, we came to know more about the investment and the saving plans and what they used to have in their life. It was really a wonderful experience out there yesterday to know that many of the people, we are so privileged here in our world, and many are still suffering with the income and many other facilities which they do not get. And today we are at Anjali farm, which is a Central Oceans unit, and it is a wonderful experience here that we come to know more about the environmental. We come in touch with the environment where we can be part of it. Like when we were child, we used to play with sand. Now after years, now we are playing with sand, where we are sowing, we are weeding. So it's really a wonderful experience out from college, where we can get more interacted with the other people as well as with the environment. So it was really a wonderful experience out here.
That's the end of today's exposure. Our students are fatigued with the farming work, but it's a great day of hard work for us. That's it for this week's Campus Eye. Stay tuned until next time.